people work in an environment where you reposition one valve improperly and you can cause a major catastrophe.
14 men, 4 5 ready to unload.
Military music at Navy Band Great Lakes has a long, rich history. The first musician, a bugler, arrived in 1908 to the then new Naval Training Center, and the band was officially established in 1911 when the first recruits arrived for training. During World War I, the illustrious John Philip Sousa led the band as he trained more than 1,500 musicians for the Navy. Today's members carry on that noble tradition in their spirit of their motto, pride and service. With a wide range of performing ensembles, this talented group of professional military musicians appear in hundreds of parade, concert, school, public, and recruiting performances throughout its 11-state area each year as the Navy ambassadors to the Midwest. The commander, Naval Service Training Command, Rear Admiral Mike Bernacki, is proud to present the men and women of Navy Band Great Lakes. To honor those who have served, Navy Band Great Lakes will conclude today's concert with a performance of the Armed Forces Medley. As your service song is played, please stand to recognize you or your family's service to our country. United States Army. United States Marine Corps. United States Air Force. United States Coast Guard. United States Navy. The drum major for today's concert is musician second class Katie Kalinowski, and conducting Navy Band Great Lakes is chief musician Laura Ringnalda. Another acknowledgement, please, for their outstanding performance this morning. The parade of graduates is underway and will arrive at Midway Ceremonial Hall in just a few moments. Please make sure that all personal items are clear of the aisles and the drill deck. Guests in the balcony are reminded that standing along the rail is prohibited for the remainder of the ceremony. We know that your sailors will have many wonderful and amazing stories for you about their boot camp experience. However, at this time we offer some video evidence that reveals our side of the story.
Good morning, and welcome to Recruit Training Command and today's graduation. We are very excited to have all the family and friends of our sailors both here and online. You are about to watch the formal transition from recruit to full-fledged sailor in the world's greatest and most powerful Navy. As we honor the accomplishments of America's best and brightest, we must also honor the family and friends of these new sailors. Without you and your steadfast support and devotion, this day would not be possible. Throughout our nation's history, the secret to our military success has always been the military families that stand the watch at home and always support their sailors. The Department of Defense has made the determination that the men and women graduating today have what it takes, and that's thanks to you. So on behalf of the United States Navy, thank you, and welcome to the Navy family. This celebration is not just for our graduates, but for you as well. Take special pride in what your sailor has accomplished and the tremendous journey they are about to embark on. They are our future. Thank you again for your support and all you do to help keep America safe and strong. Enjoy the ceremony, and again, welcome to our Navy family.
As the parade of graduates approaches, we salute the states and territories whose sons and daughters will graduate today.
Delaware,
Pennsylvania, New Jersey,
Georgia, Connecticut, Massachusetts,
Maryland,
South Carolina,
New Hampshire,
Virginia, New York,
North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont,
Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Louisiana, Indiana,
Mississippi,
Illinois, Alabama, Maine, Missouri,
Arkansas, Michigan,
Florida, Texas, Iowa, Wisconsin,
California, Minnesota,
Oregon, Kansas, West Virginia, Nevada, Nebraska,
Colorado, North Dakota,
South Dakota, Montana, Washington,
Idaho,
Wyoming, Utah,
Oklahoma,
New Mexico, Arizona,
Alaska,
Hawaii, District of Columbia, Puerto Rico,
Guam,
American Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands, Virgin Islands,
state flags, order, arms. And now we invite you to join the staff of Recruit Training Command in welcoming the graduating divisions with your applause as they enter Midway Ceremonial Hall and are announced in the following order.
Division 012. Division 013. Division 014. Division 015. Division 016. Division 017. Division 018. Today's graduate and performance unit is Division 902. Division 902 provides the state flag, color guard, and drumlight unit for today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Thank you. Divisions, right, face. Section leaders fall out and collect outer garments. Divisions, counter, march. Divisions, halt.
Prepare for review. At a close and full, dress left, dress. Ready, front, left, face. At a close interval, dress right, dress. Ready, front, right, face, parade, rest.
May I have your attention, please? For the remainder of the review, no one will be permitted to pass in front of the review stand, and we ask this as a courtesy to our reviewing officer. Photography is certainly encouraged, but we ask that you remain seated and off the drill deck. The photographers you will see on deck throughout the review are the official photographers of Recruit Training Command. Division commanders, left or right, face, parade, rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Lieutenant Simon Bennett, Recruit Training Command's Drill Division Officer. I would like to welcome you to today's pass and review. Today you will see 9 divisions comprised of 676 sailors participate in their graduation ceremony and soon join the most powerful Navy in the world. Please draw your attention to the unit positioned at center deck. There is the review commander and staff. The review commander is responsible for conducting the graduation ceremony. Today's review commander is Seaman Recruit Christopher Orcabas from Sacramento, California. Let's give him a hand, folks. Performing today is the staff unit on their 6th week of training, Triple Threat unit on their 7th week, and graduating is the State Flags unit on their 8th and final week of training. These units are comprised entirely of recruits. During their night of arrival, all recruits are placed into divisions of 88 personnel and assigned their division commanders. Recruit division commanders form the backbone of recruit training and are the key individuals in the life of every recruit. Division commanders must serve as counselors, disciplinarians, administrators, and military leaders. Above all, they must show themselves as outstanding examples of military bearing, appearance, attitude, and behavior. Each division also has a recruit chief petty officer. This is a senior recruit who supervises the divisional staff positions in the absence of their division commanders. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the graduating divisions, their division commanders, and recruit chief petty officers. As I introduce each division, they will raise the competitive flags that they have earned throughout their training. As I introduce each recruit chief petty officer, the flag representing their home state will also be raised. Please hold your applause until all introductions have been completed. I will be starting from their right. Division 011. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Reyes Camacho. Petty Officer First Class Hansley Scott. Petty Officer First Class Joe Thomas. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman James Hickey from Hampton, New Hampshire. Division 012. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Luis Sanchez. Petty Officer First Class Eric Phillips. Petty Officer First Class Juan Tacona. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Duran Buckner from Brooklyn, New York. Division 013. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Adam Ennis. Petty Officer First Class Brittany Ogleton. Petty Officer First Class Jonathan Voigt. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Christian Ponce Cespedes from Hialeah, Florida. Division 014. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Sabrina Mayo. Petty Officer First Class Calvin Martin. Petty Officer First Class Ryan Taylor. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Alonia Parrott from Florence, South Carolina. Division 015. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Cody Humphrey. Petty Officer First Class Barton Barajas. Petty Officer First Class Unique 10. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Elise Saylor from Boston, Massachusetts. Division 016. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Aaron Martinez. Petty Officer First Class Julianne Bodeker. Petty Officer First Class Christian McGee. and their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Joel Mundo from Queens, New York. Division 017. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Jeffrey Tumacker. Petty Officer First Class Juan Gomez. Petty Officer First Class Lester Gutierrez Rivas. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Suriel Bustos from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Division 018. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Mamadou Diallo. Petty Officer First Class Anthony Harrison. Petty Officer Second Class Emmanuel Shirley. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Mark Moreau from Milford, Pennsylvania. Division 902. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Chris Davis. Petty Officer First Class Christopher Tusher. Petty Officer First Class Anna Marrero Suarez. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Stephen Rhodes from Houston, Texas. On behalf of the commanding officer and staff of Recruit Training Command, we congratulate these division commanders and recruit chief petty officers on a job well done. In a moment, you will see the ceremonial side boys, bosun, and honor guard take their places for arrival honors. This time-honored tradition is our formal greetings to this morning's reviewing officer. When requested by the announcer, please stand for the arrival honors, marching honor of the colors, national anthem, and the invocation. As a reminder, military guests shall remain covered throughout the entire graduation ceremony. And ladies and gentlemen, one final note. As befitting the importance of this occasion, our ceremony is conducted in a formal manner. However, we do encourage you to participate in today's graduation ceremony by letting your applause show your sailors just how proud of them you are. Once again, welcome aboard.
Divisions! Attention!
Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the arrival of the official party? Recruit Training Command arriving.
Order, arms.
Deputy Chief of Chaplains for Reserve Matters arriving.
Order, arms.
The guests may be seated.
Morning, Admiral. Honor Guard standing by for inspection, sir. Inspection. Arms. Thank you for your inspection comments, sir. Right shoulder. Arms. Close ranks. March. Right. Face. Forward. March. Left. 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 Left.
Color guard, parade the colors.
Will the guests please rise? Present arms. present arms. Order arms. Chaplain Marcelli will offer this morning's invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, who live in the wind and sea obey, we come before you united in a spirit of thanksgiving and patriotic zeal to celebrate this graduation ceremony. We give you thanks, O God, for all you have accomplished in us, for our instructors and the outstanding example of leadership, for the bonds that were forged within our divisions, for the support of family, friends, and loved ones, and for the health of mind, body, and soul. As we make this transition on our pilgrim journey, we humbly ask you to bless our country, our leaders, those who are on deployment, in combat missions, and separated from family and homeland. In a changing world, keep us ever mindful of the three things in life that are certain. It will be a combination of both the good and the bad. It will be whatever we make of it, and you, O God, will remain with us always. Amen.
Our guests may be seated. At this point, the commanding officer would issue orders and instructions to the unit commanders. Then, the unit commanders would face about and relay the information to their divisions. Today's event shall orders are passed to the chain of command.
Divisions! Report! Very well. 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 All divisions present or accounted for, sir. Very well. The Sailors' Creed. Good morning, Captain. I present the graduating divisions. Request permission to commence the review.
Very well. Commence the review.
Aye, sir. Award winners reporting, sir.
Very well.
Good morning. I'm Captain Eric Thors, Commanding Officer of Recruit Training Command. I welcome you to this morning's recruit graduation ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where our Navy heritage meets the future and where these young men and women enter the profession of arms. Division 902 graduates today. They are the State Flags Unit, providing the 50 state flags, District of Columbia, and U.S. Territory flags, Drum Corps, and Color Guard. Please join me in giving them a hand for their outstanding performances. Welcome to our reviewing officer, Rear Admiral Philip Endell Lee, Jr., Deputy Chief of Chaplains for Reserve Matters. I would also like to welcome and recognize the veterans in our audience for their service to our country. Would our veterans please stand? I am pleased to welcome the families and friends of these graduates who have come here today to share this significant milestone with our newest sailors. The men and women of Recruit Training Command are dedicated to providing the United States Navy basically trained, physically fit, and sharply disciplined sailors like those whom you see before you. They and others like them serve as the bedrock of our naval forces. They give our Navy its combat edge, and they enable us to help keep this nation secure. These sailors have successfully completed 8 weeks of demanding recruit training. They have recently demonstrated their knowledge and their courage during battle stations. They have earned the right to wear the uniform recognized throughout the world as a symbol of freedom. This training group is ready to graduate and serve in the world's most powerful Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you 676 of the newest and sharpest sailors in the United States Navy.
Recruit Training Command's competitive system among individual recruits and divisions promotes teamwork, attention to detail, and pride in accomplishment. Divisions performing above standards throughout their training are awarded recognition flags in the following mission areas: academic achievement, military drill, compartment readiness, and physical fitness. These flags are carried as a visible symbol of the division's success. Each flag indicates that your sailors, individually and as teams, met performance standards in one or more mission areas.
Parade! Rest!
Admiral Lee will now present this week's individual awards, and he will be joined on the drill deck by our commanding officer, Captain Thors. For achieving the highest overall academic score during recruit training, Seaman William Sherrard, Division 011, from Falls Church, Virginia, has earned the Academic Excellence Award, which is sponsored by the Lake Defiance chapter of the Illinois Society of the Sons of the American Revolution. Seaman Sherrard receives a letter of commendation from the commanding officer. Well done, sailor. For having displayed extraordinary qualities, best expressing the American spirit of honor, initiative, and loyalty, Seaman Jordan Fisher Ingram, Division 017, from San Diego, California, is awarded the Navy League Award, which is sponsored by the Navy League of the United States. Seaman Fisher Ingram is presented with a commemorative plaque and a letter of commendation from the commanding officer. Well done, sailor. Seaman Jacob Dawson, Division 017, from Huntsville, Alabama, is the winner of the United Service Organization Award for Best Exemplifying the Spirit and Intent of the Word Shipmate. Seaman Dawson is given a commemorative plaque from the United Service Organization. Well done, sailor. Seaman Apprentice Luis Tapia, Division 012, from Miami, Florida, is the recipient of the Military Order of the World Wars Award of Merit. This award is presented for meritorious performance during recruit training. Seaman Apprentice Tapia is presented with a commemorative plaque from the Military Order of the World Wars. Well done, sailor. The Military Officers Association Leadership Award is presented to Fireman Isabella Chopek, Division 014, from Roseville, California, for demonstrating exceptional tenacity and professionalism. Fireman Chopek is awarded a letter of commendation from our commanding officer. Well done, sailor. Seaman Andrew Saucedo, Division 012, from San Antonio, Texas, is the recipient of the Navy Club of the United States of America Military Excellence Award for best exemplifying the qualities of enthusiasm, devotion to duty, military bearing, and teamwork. This award places him at the pinnacle of today's newest sailors. He is awarded a flag letter of commendation. Seaman Saucedo, the staff of Recruit Training Command, salute to you as the finest of this group of graduates. Well done, sailor.
Divisions! Attention!
It is appropriate to recognize such outstanding individual accomplishments by these sailors with a round of 3 cheers. The adjutant will lead all graduating divisions in 3 cheers for this morning's award winners.
Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
I have the distinct pleasure this morning of introducing our reviewing officer, Rear Admiral Philip Endell Lee, Jr., Deputy Chief of Chaplains for Reserve Matters. Admiral Lee earned a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Mobile, a Master of Divinity, Master of Religious Education, and Doctor of Philosophy degrees from Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth, Texas. He was commissioned in the Navy Reserve in 1993 after serving 11 years in the Marine Corps Reserve, both as an enlisted member and as an officer. Among his numerous tours of duty, he has served as Deputy Chaplain of the Marine Corps for Reserve Matters at the Pentagon, 4th Marine Division Chaplain, the nation's largest Marine division, Director of Protestant Worship and Battalion Chaplain in support of 2 Marine, Expeditionary Force for Operation Iraqi Freedom, Deputy Command Chaplain supporting Operation Enduring Freedom, Deputy Force Chaplain, Marine Forces, Reserve, Director, Office of Religious Affairs for Combined Joint Task Force, Horn of Africa in Djibouti, mobilization to 4th Marine Division, Marine Forces Reserve in New Orleans, Louisiana. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm Recruit Training Command welcome to an outstanding sailor, Rear Admiral Philip Endell Lee, Jr.
Thank you, Captain. It's an honor and a privilege to join you here this morning. I'm humbled see the future as it stands before me. My heart wells up. I want to talk to you just briefly about two thresholds that every person steps over who serves in the military. The first threshold is the one you're facing this morning. When you graduate from boot camp, you demonstrate that you have the capacity to fulfill that oath that you gave when you raised your right hand and said, "I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and our American way of life." The night before I graduated from boot camp, a senior officer pulled me aside, and he said to me, "You've overcome one of the greatest challenges in your life by reaching this threshold." I remember in my youthful arrogance having this thought pass through my mind. I said, well, if this is all life has got, bring it on, because I'm ready. I hope you feel that way today. I thought to myself, I can handle anything. And that was some of the purpose of that pressurized condition that you've been through over these weeks now. It gave me a sense of confidence that has served me well over the course of my life. And without fail, except in just a couple of instances, that challenge has not been met again. Primarily because of my experiences at boot camp. I learned how to pay attention to detail. I learned what it meant to be tough. I learned what it meant to work with my fellow service members, to analyze a problem, to work through it with the resources available, to adapt and overcome. Congratulations to you today for meeting that threshold. And it's my hope and prayer for you today that as you go forward, you will be able to look back to this moment, to these days, time and time again, and say to yourself, if I accomplished that, if I overcame that, then I have the capacity to meet this challenge ahead of me full force and give it everything I have. There's a second threshold. It will come at the end of your service. I can't tell you when that will be. For some, it may be, depending on circumstances, a few years. For others, it may be 10 years. For some of you in this crowd, you might reach measures like me and the old captain up here, when we can speak in terms of decades. 31 years for him. A little over 36 now for me. But there will come a day when you take this uniform off. Again, in my trajectory between that first threshold and my anticipation of that second threshold, the days have been filled with numerous challenges and lots of adventure. And along that path, I had a senior officer pull me aside. Standing in front of his desk, tall as a young officer, he said to me, "Young man, there's going to come a day when you take that uniform off. Make sure that every decision you make along the way prepares you for that moment as well." So I give that charge to you to this day and every day, that you make decisions along the path so that when you come to that moment, when and wherever it may be, that you will feel the same sense of satisfaction that you feel here today. That when your family members, your shipmates, your friends look upon your life, even God himself might look down upon you in that moment and say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Honor, courage, and commitment. They will serve you well if you serve them well. God bless you today, and God bless America.
will now receive the salute of the graduating divisions, and he will be joined on the drill deck by our commanding officer, Captain Thors. Please remain seated until your graduates have been placed on liberty. Please join me in one more round of appreciation for our wonderful musicians of Navy Band Great Lakes. Flags. Post. Section leaders fall out and retrieve outer garments. May I have your attention, please? Will David and Ann McManus, the family of Seaman Recruit Justice McManus, and the RDCs of Division 011 meet a staff member at center deck at the conclusion of the ceremony? Midway Ceremonial Drill Hall will be closing at the conclusion of today's graduation. Please check the area around you to ensure you have all your possessions. For those families with strollers, please retrieve them as you exit the drill hall. Thanks again to each and every one of you for joining us on this most memorable of Navy days. And without further delay, now hear this, now hear this. Liberty call, liberty call. Call out. Midway Ceremonial Drill Hall will be closing in 10 minutes. All newly graduated sailors, please be in full uniform of the day before you exit the drill hall.